Hello, it's Sky again, and welcome to another episode of What Keeps Me Up at Night. An episode dedicated to all the mysteries of the world that I don't know about you, but I think about every night and I can't sleep. And, usually why I go to work and I'm really tired. And today we have a couple guests with us. For the first time, we have two people, not just one.
Hey, what's up? It's me, Red, again. Turns out I'm not dead.
Red is not dead.
Hey, all
The
right.
internet hoax is false.
That's it.
Don't worry, everybody. You don't have to believe it. Red is not dead. He's
Don't believe
here.
it. Don't believe it. Don't believe
That was
it.
just a ploy so you can hear our voices once again.
I don't know why. My voice is terrible. Hey, okay.
I did hear it was creepy last time.
It is creepy. You know what?
It was a
That's
little
totally
creepy.
fine. I don't mind creeping a couple people out.
My
I'm sure if they
voice-
see me in the
My
back
voice
alley.
isn't the best either.
They see me in the back alley, I'd creep.
Not only do I not have the face for radio, I don't have the voice for radio.
I don't have anything on radio.
And then we also have joining us.
Hey, I'm Blue. I'm so excited to be here. I've known Sky for about 8 years now. I'm a fellow conspiracy theorist, and I really, really would like to know what keeps you up at night.
And now to the more recent UFO stuff. And of course, that means Roswell.
Yes, New Mexico.
But what if I told you that Roswell wasn't the first crash site?
It was Old Mexico.
No, it wasn't even Old Mexico.
Middle Mexico.
Nope. There's a story that in Germany, in the Black Forest, in like a couple years before Roswell, a bell-shaped item came from the sky and crashed.
So it wasn't Nazi Germany.
Well, the thing was, it was in the 30s, so it was
Technically Nazi Germany.
it was Nazi Germany turning into Nazi Germany.
It was Nazi Germany.
That's one of the reasons why they say that. Did you know that in World War II we were having those old when you see World War II video in your head and you think planes, you think those biplanes with a propeller shooting like little guns.
Yeah.
Do you know in the Germans in World War II actually had jets that were like 10 times faster than our planes,
Wow.
and that they would shoot past our guys? They didn't know what to do.
Because they were like testing them for the first time, or?
Well, they already tested them. This was their deployment of like, yo, we got better shit than you, and you need to be careful.
But at the same time, it's
I
like
see.
those better shits never really worked.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of instances they really didn't work.
Well, it was also at the end of the war too, where they were already losing. So,
Yeah, they didn't have much materials either.
yeah, and they were like, basically, hey, look how strong we are. We got this thing, you don't, but we're dying out. So,
Yeah, but
when-
how many of those things you really have? Like one.
so the theory is that this German Roswell event is what propelled Germany ahead of most of the world in technology.
Fuck me, they had the Tesseract and we didn't know.
And they tried to change the universe with it, but it got too much for them.
It got too much for them, and that was it. That was it. Captain America came up your ass.
Well, you Blue, you think it's possible that there was like a Roswell type event in Germany?
Probably.
I mean,
Why not?
yeah.
You're not Blue.
I mean, no, but I understand though.
I don't know. I'm just open to possibilities. That's all it is. Like I wasn't there. I don't know.
Like, so if it could happen to us, it probably could happen to them type stuff.
Yeah, or yeah.
Have you ever walked around in a nice night that's all clear and whatnot and seen a shaft of light and thought, wow, I can't explain this to somebody?
Yeah, but we
I've
were on
definitely
shrooms.
seen some weird. No. Yeah, probably. But I know I really have seen some weird stuff in the sky that I really didn't know about or could explain.
I've actually never heard of it.
So-
8 years, I've never heard of this.
Oh, do
That's
tell.
not true.
No,
but I
it's
used
true.
to
Okay,
hang
so
out.
tell us a story. Like, which one? Like, give us one.
I don't know, just like I used to hang out on my friend's rooftop a lot, and you would just see like lights that you couldn't really understand or explain. And I guess honestly, I think that right now at this moment, I'm realizing that I have seen like I feel like it's like a row of lights passing through the sky and stuff. Like you see a lot of weird stuff.
Were they flashing red and white?
No.
Right. So I asked that because everyone knows that
Commercial flights.
Yes, all
Right.
commercial flights have like some kind of blinking lights. But this was obviously different because you made a mental note of
No,
it.
yeah, and I think that I just couldn't record it at the time or really process what was going on. But I think if you do visit rooftops, you would like. I think you would see a lot of weird shit.
Is this the same rooftop that we had that I had the fake UFO exciting?
That's probably
Yo,
that's the only real rooftop. It's the
we-
best view in New York City.
yeah,
Like I wish I could take all of you guys there. I know Red has been there.
Yeah.
Sky has been there.
Yeah, you have been there. You know that
It's in
rooftop I was
Bushwick,
talking about.
Brooklyn.
So
and-
one time
yeah.
we went up there and we were smoking and we had a couple cans, and I look up and I see this gray shiny thing in the sky, and I'm sitting down and I like fall to the floor like, and the angel's like, what happened?
You were awestruck.
Yeah,
I was dumbfounded.
there's a UFO. Look, it was a Mylar balloon.
I feel like I could probably find pictures of it if I really.
I think we did take pictures of it.
Yeah.
I felt so stupid because because in the moment, I'm not a big UFO person.
But you believed it
in that
wholeheartedly.
In that moment, it was like, we're not alone. I'm like, oh, wait, it's somebody's birthday.
Yeah, because I guess people do that.
Yeah, but I understand that though. Like, oh my god, I can just imagine the look on his face. They do exist.
Supposedly, after the
Yeah.
crash happened, Germany started building some stuff called Die Glocken. I don't think I'm pronouncing it right, but it basically means the bell. And it's a UFO looking thing that flies up, down, left, right. And there's no blueprints because they supposedly destroyed all the blueprints for it and the machines. But there's actually, if you look online, there's a few pictures of maybe more like bomber looking with a curved front than a UFO, but definitely ships that didn't look normal. So there's like a small chance, very small chance, because there's no documentation of it. It's just there's actually a bunch of German scientists who left was like, hey, we have this thing over here that's crazy. You should look at it.
Let's show them our thing, guys.
So the theory is that America came in, found it before the Russians, and decided to bring it back with all the other Russian scientists. And then all of a sudden, in the 50s, we're building our own UFOs. There's actually documentation showing, like, it would look so funny. It looks like what a child would build. It's
got the 3 little windows.
It's circular.
It's got the circle.
It's a little circle, and then the little guy's just sitting in the middle of it like an idiot. Like it's like kind of like Marvin the Martian. You know how he sits in his.
Oh god.
That's how they did it, and it looks so stupid. And he's just like flying, and they never got off like a few feet off the floor. It was a hovercraft. They couldn't do anything, basically.
They're gonna hover at you aggressively.
Now, most of the evidence that points to this, it doesn't really go anywhere. I just thought it would be fun to bring up that, you know, especially if it happened in Germany at that time, we don't have access to the intelligence of what they had or what they were going through because it was secret, and they could have easily destroyed it before we got there.
They were fucking Nazis.
Yeah, they knew we lost, and they were coming. Like,
well, they knew that we lost, or they knew that they lost.
They knew they lost.
Okay,
so
I
was
gonna say
we don't want this in other people's hands because maybe we come back or something. Because you know a lot of Nazis flew to South America. Well, not flew. They took a boat.
They fled.
They fled to South America, and there's actually in Brazil there's a town that speaks German.
Really?
In the middle of all the Spanish speakers, there's a little town that speaks German, and they do Oktoberfest.
I gotta go there.
And all this.
What?
Yeah.
I gotta get me a
That's
Brazilian
really
girl
cool.
and go there.
This is not like one of those weird theories like, oh, did Hitler escape? Hitler died, I assume.
Yeah.
But whoever, like, because the U.S.
No, hold on. Let's be honest. Hitler right now is chilling out with Tupac in Malaysia.
On the dark side of the moon.
They drinking right now on a Malaysian beach. Toasting to each other. Okay?
With the Malaysian flight? I don't think that's how it works.
I'm telling you, bro, the Malaysian flight, that's what happened, bro. It didn't go down, all right? Every time somebody that was noticeable in history mysteriously died, Malaysia.
Yo, you won't believe how many people disappear. And I go into so much research, And whether what people are saying are true or not, people who say things about UFO disappear like 50% of the time under weird circumstances. They die. Healthy people have
are
a heart
you saying
attack.
that's what's gonna happen to us?
No, what I'm saying is
We're gonna end
we're
up in
not
Malaysia.
we're not whistleblowers. We're just talking after the fact. These are people who are saying like this is kind of what happened. Like you should listen to me because I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, we'll know if the FBI shows up at your door and knocks. Though.
I just really hope
God.
I can take my animals.
You can't
with
see,
me.
but I'm looking out my window right now, making sure.
You know they're gonna knock.
No, I
us,
mean-
so you guys want to talk shit, huh?
I like conspiracy theorists in me. I feel like you guys are freaking me out.
They're gonna come back and say,
Well, you know when
I'm just gonna grab my cats and
when
then
the
my
war
dogs are gonna
first-
follow. And
when the war
we're gonna-
first broke out, U.S. airmen were calling things Foo Fighters, and they were
like
lights.
Dave Grohl,
Huh?
Like Dave Grohl.
I don't know what that means.
Dave Grohl, I don't know.
That's the lead singer of Foo Fighters.
Oh, well, thank you for that. I didn't know that.
Oh God!
But
The-
this was before
The
Foo-
unculturedness in here. I feel it.
Well, the original Foo Fighters was based on a different song. That's why. And they called them Foo Fighters. I forget the real reason, but they were lights that they couldn't escape or drive faster. So they would be chased by these lights, and then they would just shoot off on their own, and they would try to follow, but couldn't keep up.
All right, so why would they name it something that sounds Asian as fuck?
Well, let me do a quick search because there is a certain reason. There was a song. Why are World War II? What is it called? Foo Fighter? Foo
FOO.
Fighters called.
Foo Fighters.
The term Foo Fighter was used by Allied craft pilots during World War II to describe various UFOs or mysterious aerial phenomenon, which is the new nomenclature. If you hear a UAP, that's the new UFO. UFO sounds like you're crazy. UAP sounds like you're smart. That's basically what they're doing.
Wait,
that's what
So
they're
what
doing.
is it again?
If you're UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Oh my god.
Oh, I thought it was unmanned aerial phenomenon.
On all the research I did with this too, there's a lot of evidence that shows that the government sent out false information and made the word UFO itself bad.
Yeah.
So if you said UFO,
like
you won't believe.
connotation or whatever.
Yeah. So if you start talking to me about UFOs, I'm not gonna listen to you. I'm gonna think you're crazy.
Yeah, but UAP
Is a renaming of it.
Wow. Okay.
So you don't sound so crazy.
Yeah.
And then so I want to see. Okay.
UAP
Emerged in pop culture during the early 1930s, first being used by cartoonist Bill Holman, who peppered his Smokey Stover fireman comic cartoon strips with foo signs and puns. The term foo was borrowed from Smokey Stover, blah, blah, blah. According to most again, I don't understand. I didn't say anything.
What the fuck? All I heard was according to
Because there was like little words in between
Silence.
it, but it didn't make any sense. It didn't. They're called Foo Fighters because they were called Foo Fighters. It's basically what it said.
That's right. They were called Foo Fighters because they were looking and they were like, "Foo."
But these
They
were
were
but these were bright lights that they couldn't escape and they couldn't get past. And so that starts to our next theme, which is now our Roswell incident.
Foo.
It sounds like Wu-Tang. Then in 1947, a supposed crash happens that includes wreckage of a disc-type object.
Where?
Blue, what do you know of Roswell?
I feel really bad because I don't know much.
Like
or
you never
anything
heard of
at all.
Roswell?
The
Like
name
you
really
heard the
sounds
name
familiar,
earlier.
but I couldn't tell you what the fuck that's about.
What about you? Blue
All right.
or red?
Blue or red? Which one am I?
Pretty sure you're red because your eyes are red.
Okay. So, anyways, I would like to say, what do I know about it? I know a couple things. The most recent that I've heard about it is that a bunch of kids were getting ready to go Naruto running straight at the motherfucker.
This is the sick episode you mentioned.
Okay.
Anime.
They were gonna run straight at this dude.
Stop for real. What do you know about
But
Roswell?
me personally, I knew that this was supposedly where the United States government was keeping all the alien tech and all that other shit, and aliens themselves.
All right, so I guess this is for more for Blue in the audience, but basically in 1947, there was a paper in New Mexico that published a headline that says, let me double check because I don't want to give misinformation. Roswell paper.
Oh. Pumping in just Roswell, New Mexico would yield nothing, I'm guessing.
1947.
It would just yield you some old ass stories. Ye old stories of Roswell.
All right, so the headline reads RAAF, which is, I think, the Air Force, captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region. No details of flying discs are revealed. Roswell hardware. Man and wife report disc seen. I'm trying to read like the article, but it's really hard to like zoom in.
Zoom in on that bitch.
I can't zoom in anymore.
God damn it.
But the very next day, they said it was a weather balloon. Like it went from a flying saucer of like 15 maybe feet across to a weather balloon that's made of like maybe like so the same like remember when I said the UFO like I saw on the rooftop. What is that balloon called again? The Milmar. What is it called?
Aluminum.
No, what did I say earlier? Oh,
reflective.
No, I can't remember Milmar or something. Whatever. It's a silver. What the?
And we're watching an ad.
X out the ad.
It doesn't matter.
The ad was good.
Yeah.
Got it
let it run out. Let them make their money. They
need it.
They got me. So basically, they said the next day that it was a balloon for like a weather study, and there's reports that the guy who took pictures, because there's pictures of him standing with what you see is some kind of metallic balloony material.
I mean, surely they changed their story under threatening of their lives. I mean, they had guns pointed at their hands. Yeah, listen, it's not got an M16 pointed to your head. You're gonna do exactly what the hell they say when they say why they say. You really don't care about the why. You're just gonna do it.
Basically,
I feel like they were threatened, and they had a couple, M16s pointed to their head, and they're like, "Look, listen, this is the story. You're gonna stick to it, or my friend here is just gonna, somehow catch carpal tunnel and just hold the trigger down."
I'm actually trying to look for the pictures because the pictures actually are an important part of this.
Okay.
Balloon. Yeah, so you see like this thing here. This is what it's reportedly said to have been, which looked like a parachute, basically.
It looks almost like a hot air balloon. Yeah,
basically, it's a hot air balloon, and that goes up and measures the weather and see where the wind's coming, and temperature, everything. Yeah. The problem with that is that the guy who found the site was actually part of the Air Force, highly decorated. I won't say too because I don't know how highly decorated he was.
He was decorated,
but be in that area, you had to be like the best of the best.
He had some decoration. Yeah.
And he told his daughter on his deathbed that it's like, I know what I'm talking about. I know the difference between a balloon and a disc. And what I saw wasn't a balloon. Mm-hmm. And I'm paraphrasing. But he basically on a deathbed said, hey, I was forced to retake pictures with a balloon. Now, you saw the headline. This isn't a real newspaper. Newspapers can't just send some stuff out and like, oh, this is what happened. Right. They need some kind of proof. They need some kind of, what's it called?
Some photos, some verification.
Yeah, like Sabrina from Teenage Witch. She needs a source. That's what it is.
Yeah.
A source.
Yeah, source.
Yeah, sorry, this is such a creepy headline. In 1947, a high-altitude balloon crash-landed in Roswell. The aliens never left.
That's it. They were in there. They were in the balloon.
Fucking creepy.
Well,
they were flying the balloon.
The theories are that there's 3 bodies recovered from that crash. And the way they were described is what, like, if you had to right now, if I actually describe what an alien looked like, what does it look like? Just give me a description.
The aliens that we all see with the weird shaped head and the black eyes.
How
and
tall are
they
they?
have like 3 fingers. Pretty tall, probably taller than us.
So this is where there's different accounts. The Roswell ones are considered to be short, like 3 foot. They're said to be look like children.
Okay.
That's why the crafts are not that huge, because a discus type of shape is only so high in diameter. Like there's only so much you can fit height wise. So
okay, I guess I've seen in like movies or shows like a 3-foot alien too.
Well, the theory is that
like in Signs.
that's what we know as what aliens look like, because that's what they look like, and we only have these people who come out and say things at certain times. And like this guy, I forget, but anything that you hear, you can Google. I don't like to bring up things that I can't at least find an article for. The Nazi thing was a little different. That was just speculation. Mm-hmm. But Roswell has a rich history of misdirections. One day the army says we found something, and the next day it says nope, it's nothing. I'm sorry, but what general is going to come in and be like, oh, this balloon? Yeah, this is a spacecraft, and there must be aliens around. To the next day saying, well, oh, no, it's just a balloon, and it fell.
I feel like they're doing that today, honestly.
Right, with China. Like, there's a balloon. It's always, that's a common thing where they just blame it on balloons. But balloons don't move like these things.
Yeah.
And if a balloon crashes and a spaceship crashes, there's going to be 2 different
explosions.
Yeah, there going to be different parts scattered around. And I don't think someone who's in the Air Force, who's seen all the planes and fighter crafts that we have, can mistake a balloon for a spacecraft. Like, I'm sorry, it just doesn't seem logical. I'm not saying I believe 100% in Roswell, but if the government wasn't so weird about it, we wouldn't be asking why or what if.
This wouldn't be keeping us up at night.
Yeah. So thank you, Army, because it's been fun.
Yay! You gotta love the fun that the army, the military just brings so much joy to our lives.
Sure, of course.
Yeah. See the joy it's brought. The absolute joy.
You know what you look like now? You look like one of those Assassin's Creed characters with the hoodie.
and
I feel like I'm about to be killed.
The worst.
Oh my God! The FBI sent you to get rid of us.
That's it.
They knew we were going to do this. They tried to get us rid of us.
Probably.
Right now.
On some John Connor shit.
What if I told you that this wasn't the only sighting of UFOs in the 40s?
I would say that there's a high possibility that there was another one maybe sighted in Japan, because Japanese people are weird.
Aren't you half Japanese?
I am, yes, I am very. But that doesn't mean the fact that I don't know that half of my people are weird as fuck.
I honestly, I feel like the Japanese culture is the most alien to American.
Because I was getting ready for you to ask me that description of the alien thing, and I was about to give you some wicked ass shit from you. I'm like, nope, I'm shutting it down.
Have you ever seen anything in the sky?
Me? Yeah.
Have you ever seen something that you couldn't quite? Because we know the red and white flashing of commercial planes. We know that there's a ISIS, which is the International Space Center, that sometimes that causes things. But have you ever seen anything in the sky that you're just like, I have no idea what this could be?
Not that I can think of. Then again, to be honest with you, I really don't look up much. And I feel like that would be the perfect opportunity for a predator to kill me.
I feel like that's the problem with us blind people. We can never look to the skies and really see what's up there because we can't see it anyway.
Well, it's not that. It's that I feel like since so long, I was, I grew up in like Brooklyn and shit like that. So, growing up in those parts of the city, looking up, you don't really see, due to all the light pollution, you really don't see a lot of the stars and all that other stuff.
Yeah, if this makes it to the Midwest, in New York City, we could probably see maybe 10 to 20 stars on a good night. Orion's
Not
belts,
even that. in
Orion's
the
belt is
city
usually
city.
pretty good.
I wouldn't say that in certain boroughs. Like Staten Island, yeah, because there's not really a lot more light
Well,
pollution.
where we live right now, there's a huge light pollution from this supermarket over here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you ever noticed, but there's like always. It's actually not in the sky tonight.
No.
But that part of the sky is usually lightly lit that we can't see what's going on.
Yeah. But yeah, for some reason, like out here, I found that happens less often. That there's not a lot of light pollution around here, so it shows up. Starts showing up a lot more. It makes me gaze out.
Mhm.
But I can't really say that I've seen something like super weird that's been like, oh, you can't explain this, can you? It's like, no, not really.
Well, what if I told you that Roswell wasn't our first experience with something that can be described as an UFO?
I don't know. Where is it then?
Well, we're going to talk about it, and it's called the Battle of LA. So Roswell happened in 1947, but in 1942, there was an event called the Battle of LA.
Like the movie.
Yeah, which what I thought instantly was the movie. And
Battle of Los Angeles. We got a bunch of Marines out there. Hell yeah, no wonder we kicked their ass.
But doesn't it kind of like make you think that maybe the government's trying to put a movie out with the same name so you don't think of the original Battle of LA?
Well, I don't know what the hell the Battle of LA is. You tell me Battle of LA.
Well, what's the movie about?
Them fighting a bunch of Marine dudes fighting off aliens with some like fucking M16s and M4s and cool ass shit. And
Well, that's so crazy because in 1942, February, I believe, Japanese submarines start firing on an oil refinery. And it blows them up, do a lot of damage, and then it goes into the water and just goes away. Right after that, and this is right after Pearl Harbor, mind you, as many as 15, 17 crafts came up on radar. So the city of LA, and you can Google this, you will find pictures of a blackened out LA because LA thought the Japanese was coming in to attack it. So it turned its lights off. One, it's not easy to attack certain places because they don't know what they're dropping it on.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they turn searchlights on and they shoot the lights up and they see this craft and they release, I believe, how much was it? 1,440 rounds.
So a lot of ammo.
So not just one person. Like, all right, so what they're basically saying is, oh, I saw something, I shot, everyone else shot, followed. But the pictures, look at it, these are enhanced pictures but basically it's showing what it's supposed to show. We Googled the pictures so I can show everybody what I'm actually talking about. And I invite, go ahead, Google anything I'm talking about. Anything that I'm talking about, you can easily find on the internet. The reason why I kind of skipped over some of the stories in the ancient stuff is it's just fun stuff to think about that it could be extraterrestrials. But these are more visible things that we can find. And there are pictures from this LA event.
So this article says, War of the Worlds, inside Battle of LA, UFO sighting that fueled conspiracies after big floating object spotted weeks after Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
So basically what happened was at this point, they shut the lights down of LA.
Right. Which is not an easy feat to do.
No, you just cut power. You just flip the switch for everybody.
Still, a lot of shit, that you got to do. I mean, nowadays, I'm sure that wouldn't bide well with a lot of people.
Well, this was in the middle of the night. Most people aren't using lights.
True.
But as soon as the lights go down, searchlights search the sky. No one fires right away. And the official story is a balloon went up at the exact same time. Again, with the balloon. It goes up at the exact same time. Someone spots it, starts firing.
Yo, that kid who keeps releasing that balloon, somebody needs to find him and smack the hell out of him.
But you know who's happy?
He's always releasing that balloon at the right time.
Exactly. That's why the government's happy. Because they keep calling balloon, and then finally China sends over a balloon. Like, see, told you this whole time it was a balloon.
Goddamn China. I bet you it was a Chinese kid releasing the first balloons too.
Maybe. Well, they say some of it's personal, and corporate. Like, who says that, the millionaire kid, oh, it's your birthday. Go ahead, send out this balloon that goes to America.
To America. Here's your balloon, America. So, enjoy it.
So basically, they fire 1,400 rounds.
At a balloon and didn't pop it.
No, they didn't pop it.
They fucking suck.
Most accounts say that it took the damage and kept going. There's a few accounts that said that a couple actually went down. But that the government went in before they could get to it and took all the evidence away.
Government hush puppies.
What do you think about these pictures, though? Aren't they crazy?
They are kind of weird.
The government hush puppies are fucking nuts.
Now, the original pictures don't look this detailed because they just kind of zoomed in and brightened up the lights. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you could see much. But that underlying view is shown, and there's a bunch of lights. And there was actually, I showed you between the breaks that video from the Russian guy in the Space Center who's recording, and then this triangle or diamond shape of lights come across. And it's not because there's stars everywhere, even on the planet. They look like, did you see the little stars on the planet? I wonder why, if that's they were showing the Aurora Borealis, why the planet had stars on it, but maybe it's a reflection. But it's
what reflects the stars.
I don't know. I guess it was Earth because it was on the dark side, so I guess maybe it reflected. I don't know. It's weird because maybe the stars was the only lights it sees. I don't know. I'm not a professional in these things. I just like to ask what if.
These are the things that keep you up at night, man.
Yeah.
Well, but you see this picture that I again, like before, imagine yourself in the early 1900s. You didn't have TV. You had minimum radio. Yeah, you didn't have much to do. You told stories. You hung out. You just been more social.
You drank.
Then your lights go out, and so you go outside, and maybe you're up at 3:00 in the morning. Some people are, and you go outside, and the light is filled with searchlights, and then lights just shooting up at this other form of lights. You're going through all these pictures, right? It's crazy, right? How many pictures and different things show up.
Yeah.
So this ends the saga of the LA lights. And something that we've noticed are what shapes do you think of when you think of UFOs? Blue?
Shapes or colors?
Color. Shapes. Oh. Wait, as far all the, I know you didn't know Roswell, and so you don't know some of the deep lore stuff. But of the stuff that if you had to describe the shape of a UFO, what would it look like?
Like circular of some form, horizontally circular. Okay. I guess.
If you had to describe, some kind of UFO, what would you describe as the norm of what would be a UFO?
A flat titty with a nipple.
On top. Yeah, that actually, that kind of does look like that, actually.
Yeah, I knew it. I got it.
So we already discussed that the government then, after all these incidents, started making flat titties with nipple shaped.
We started getting the nipples everywhere.
We started making those. And
the metallic nipples in the sky.
But it's well, why would you think that's even a good idea?
Areolas everywhere.
Yeah. So that leads us to my next step in research as we look into the incident in Pennsylvania. I think it's called Kecksburg is how you pronounce it.
Kecksburg?
Kecksburg. Oh. It's kind of wild. And now we're going to flash forward to 1965, Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. So basically what happened here was they have pictures of some trees. There's a tree line that are all kind of broken in the same direction at a 45-degree angle.
What kind of trees?
I don't know. I'm not an arborist.
I'm sorry. It's I know that sounds insignificant.
Yeah, but with the red oak wood, it'd be oh, that's really impressive.
That's impressive as hell.
Oh, these are saplings. Yeah.
but still, at the end of the day, you know,
I'm no arborologist, what they call it. But if I had to
Herbologist.
call it, be like, you know, oak trees.
Wait.
Wait, can we see
Yeah,
that?
that's the okay. So we googled the Kecksburg,
I just googled
UFO.
Kecksburg by itself.
and this is what showed up. So it's basically a bell shaped. You remember when I was talking about how the Nazis might have held like a bell shaped saucer, and then it's turned to the side. There's actually some speculation that that really happened, and the government found it and took it, and all the scientists, and that's how we got such a great progression in our technology. And if you actually look down the line, Lear and a bunch of these people who made patents after the war made millions of dollars on these patents that made huge leaps, and they all were involved with the government at the time.
Were they silenced?
No, they made a lot of money, and then they were too rich to be like, who cares? I'm not gonna say anything. I'm a fucking billionaire. Why would I say something that's gonna ruin that by saying, hey, we have a spaceship, and I'm using the technology to better myself and make money. Like, one, you would look like a kook, and then people wouldn't like really vibe with you, and then they stop buying your product.
I mean, what if that product was so revolutionary that you just had to believe it, though? Like, I can't believe it's not butter.
I mean, I guess there are people that we listen to music, i.e. R. Kelly, Michael Jackson, who have these very weird and disturbing...
R. Kelly's has been proven. Let's just put that out there.
True.
Michael Jackson's not really so much.
Because he died, I guess.
But no, he got acquitted.
No, it's not even that. It's that afterwards the little boy came out, and was like, oh, he didn't actually do it.
Oh, yeah, I heard that his mom made him say it.
After his freaking death. And it's like, well, good fucking luck. Good son that good did. You really, like, the dude's already dead.
At this point, I feel like certain things just fuck up your image anyway. So
Exactly. But being said that, I get what you mean. Like, people would look at him like, oh, well, But like I said, I feel like if the product is so revolutionary, like just out of this world, who's to say?
Yeah.
Like if somebody comes to you with a hoverboard and says, "Hey, not
the second episode in a row we're talking about hoverboards."
All right, but you know what I mean.
he really wants it.
He really wants it.
Listen, you're not.
What is it?
Back
to the Future promised it,
and
he didn't promise it. They just showed the universe that it happened to be in.
All I'm saying is that if someone came to you with an actual hoverboard that was self-propulsed, all that other good stuff, was able to safely go at like 150 miles an hour with you safely on it, it came up to you and said, "Hey, dude, I want you to give me, let's say, $250 that you have in your pocket right now to help me invest in this, but it's used with alien technology."
Well, you just described a UFO, so I would assume so. Like something that glides on its own proportion above Earth. That sounds like a UFO. So it's like a.
But it's in the shape of like a board, like a skateboard.
Yeah, so
almost.
it's like an everyday UFO, so you can travel around. And you're like, woo,
at incredible speeds too. We're talking like you can. It's well above cars, where like you can glide like right over cars easy. Like you wouldn't have to worry about crashing into a car because you're going at like 150 miles and all that other stuff. But they tell you, listen, at the end of it all, though, this is done with alien tech.
All right.
So when we release this to the world will know this is done with alien tech.
So you see, show me the picture, Blue.
Which one? Again?
The bell of the Kecksburg. Kecksburg. Yeah. They call it the acorn.
That's what I kind of thought it was. I'm not gonna lie. Like a couple things ran through my mind.
So you may think that a person saw this event and decided to make this sculpture of what they saw.
It looks like an upside down one.
But numerous people in the town all seen the same thing.
It says this is a replica.
Yeah, because what happened was in what was it, 1965, this bell-shaped item came through, smashed through the trees. You can find pictures of the trees online of how they're broken towards the crash site. Why can't I find that? Because this thing crashed, and right after it crashed, the government came in and put it on a truck bed and drove it out and told everybody that they were seeing things, that they forgot what they seen, and never happened. To this day, through all the released files of the FBI and CIA, Pentagon, no one has came out and explained what they saw. They say it's like little things like, oh, they say actually what the official story was, there was I think it was the Mercury probe wound up coming down too soon. I tried Googling this probe thing. I can't find pictures, and the pictures I do don't really look like an acorn. They kind of look like a bell, but they don't really look like an acorn.
Yeah.
And so the government still, even though the government has released now files on even Area 51, they refuse to even acknowledge that this even happened.
Yeah.
And the townspeople said, no, we saw trucks come in, throw that thing on it, and drive out with it.
Right. It's so crazy. This article in particular says 5 decades later, the Kecksburg UFO is identified. Probably.
That's the probe that crashed out. Because NASA, they asked NASA to open up an investigation on this.
Yeah.
And they came down with, oh, this was the probe that fell down from Earth. It was actually the Cosmos 6, I think is what it's called. And the Cosmos 6 crashed. But the Cosmos 6, if you look, one, there's not a lot of photos for it. Which, if it was a real thing, why isn't there more photos of? And the photos that I did see didn't really look like this. This is a smooth thing. Everything that shows Cosmos 6 has like bars sticking out of it, wires. Like it doesn't look smooth like this.
I don't know.
6, the number, not spelled out the actual number. Yeah. Oh, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong number.
What could I
Hold on, wait, because that Kecksburg thing, I found something that looks like it.
Is that Rick and Morty? Oh, Venture Brothers.
That's the Monarch's cocoon.
Well, why does it look like that?
That's what it looks like.
Oh, wow.
Does it not?
Maybe?
I'm telling you. Look, go back to Kecksburg.
Oh, where would I? No, that's not.
So this definitely is like, it's one of those things where it's not just 1 or 2 people seen this. It's numerous people, and the government's trying to say that all these people are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that just doesn't sound right. And they say that this event never even happened. Even though these people say, hey, they saw it.
Yo, Venture Bros is my shit.
So now,
plug, I love Venture Bros. I love Venture Bros. It is what it is. I love it. Brock Sampson's my guy.
So now, basically what we've shown so far from 1965 and before, a lot of the spacecraft are described as flying disc or bell-like
boobs with nipples.
Flat boobs with nipples.
They got the nickels with nipples. Nipples.
So now, what if I told you that Navy officers every day see items in the sky, things in the sky, but they're not flat disc and they're not bells or nipples or anything like that. It's a completely different entity.
If I saw nipples in the sky, I'm gonna try to suck them right out the sky.
Yeah, but then it's not nipples. You gotta get over that.
All right, like that's it.
The United States government has formally disclosed visitation of Earth by forces not of this world. We may not be alone after all. The story of the USS Nimitz gimbal footage and the 2004 encounter with multiple Navy FA-18F Super Hornets is now public.
All right.
So in 2020, the Pentagon has released a statement saying that they now have a UFO investigation program. People on that program has released information saying that there are off-world vehicles on Earth, meaning that they're not made from here. So the government at this point is letting everyone know that we're not really sure what's going on. Before, all the shapes were saucers and bells, but now that Tic Tacs, or like you brought up earlier, beans, which I thought was like, yeah, that shit, it does look like a bean.
I'm telling you, rice and beans.
And the other one that they think that they found is a cube that's black that has like a circle around it that's you can see through. Yeah, like the Borg with like a bubble Borg.
The bubble Borg is coming for you. You will be assimilated.
So you know, they're seeing these things and they're reporting them.
So did they think they were going to be assimilated though?
No,
they weren't going to get.
Well, we don't know what's going to happen. You know, we don't. We think like humans. We don't think like aliens.
I think like
us as humans, we see aliens as they're going to come and take us over, and we should be aware of that. Like they're just going to take us out because what do they care? We would do the same thing.
I mean, a bunch of assholes would. I'm not gonna lie to you. I probably wouldn't. If I see them, I'd probably be like, "Listen, can we just like chill? Like, what's up with that, man? Like, who knows? You know."
What do you think about? You saw the footage of the gimbal. Did you think it was not of this planet, or did you think, well, nah, maybe it's something else?
I don't know. It definitely looked weird. I don't know what to think of it, honestly.
Like it's a little unsettling, no?
Yeah, just a bit.
I feel like the movement of it was weird.
Well, the lack of, like, that one just sat there.
True, the lack
and like
of
100, 200 miles per hour winds just sat there in perfect space.
Right, and it's just I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's something to think about.
You know,
if not that, just think about it.
You ever heard of Bob Lazar?
Bob Lazar.
I think Bob Lazar is the person that has created the new UFO craze. So basically, this guy once built a rocket car. He put a Honda and put some rocket boosters on it so it could go 200 miles per hour. He would drive this thing to work every day.
Okay.
He was asked to go to Area 51, and he says he got switched to an area called S4. And one day he walked in, and there were hangar doors that were open that usually you have to go around the back. When he went in, he saw the first UFO. Mm-hmm. He thinks it's American made, like, because, you know, in the 50s, we did have UFO, like we saw, if you actually Google it, in the 50s, there's quite a few UFO vehicles we try to get to work, and they just didn't work right. And now that you have this new way of doing it,
Bob Lazar.
Oh, Bob Lazar, yeah. So he says he sees this thing, he puts his hand on it, and somebody comes over and is like, "Yo, don't touch it. Keep your eyes in forward and your hands to your side."
So it was like very coveted. He didn't really. It was supposed to be ultra super mega top secret.
Yeah. Do you know what a channel affiliate is, or like Fox News affiliate, or like ABC News, or?
I heard of it, but I don't really know of.
So basically, all right, in New York, we have, WPIX, Channel 11 News. Right. We have Fox News. So our channels Fox are 11, 5. 11 is WB or WPIX. 5 is Fox. Then NBC is 4. CBS is 2. Mm-hmm. And ABC is 7.
Yes.
In other parts of the country, they have the same ABC, NBC, and all that. But they're on different channels, like sometimes NBC 52.
Right, like the affiliate of...
Yeah, exactly.
ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Yeah. So there's an affiliate out in, I think it's Nevada, who brought in Bob Lazar. And he said that he worked at S4, which is a sub-area of Area 51.
Subdivision.
And then he walked up one day, and there's this round ball. And his lab partner, because they have to work as a group, because they're basically, what he says is he's trying to reverse analyze this, what he calls anti-gravity producer. Okay. And he tries to touch it, and it won't let him touch it. It shoves his hand away, because the gravity won't let him touch. It's too much gravity. A lot of the modern reports of UFOs say that it doesn't go in straight lines. It shimmies back and forth. Well, if it's like anti-gravity, it doesn't have to worry about wind forces. It doesn't have to worry about anything because it's stuck in its own gravity, not be able to move by external forces, because gravity is the strongest force we know. Well, I think we know.
Okay.
So you have all this, and it's just crazy that the government taped these things.
but never really like showed them out. My thing is though, is like, you're capturing these things. Why not see what the material they're made out of?
They don't see any rivets. They don't see any seams.
But it's got to be
all
made out of
smooth.
something. Am I right?
Well,
everything's made out of something.
Bob Lazar also says there's a thing called what's the table, the element table.
Table elements.
Yeah, so there's the 115 is this thing that we never had before, and in the 80s he went on a local affiliate of Nevada, like it was Fox or something, and he told them, like, he didn't show his face. He's like, "Hey, my name, this guy is such a jokester." He goes on and tells them that his name is Dennis. Dennis was the name of his boss at Area S4. Like, he was kind of joking on his boss.
Yeah.
And his boss came up and was like, I know that was you, right?
Uh-huh.
And so he goes on, blacks out his face, and that's why he actually comes out and say, "Hey, I'm Bob Lazar," because even his boss knew who it was. And he said he worked on these things that we didn't have, and we've been trying for decades.
Like the hoverboard.
Yep. Well, the hoverboard is basically what they're trying to produce. Yeah, they want to be able to cruise around on something that.
Where the fuck is it at?
Right.
Area 51.
Right.
Where the fuck is it at to the public?
So according to Bob Lazar, like, there's a lot of kooks out there, but he's, for 30 years, his story's never really changed. It's kind of the same. He might forget certain things, but you gotta remember, this happened 30 years ago. He actually brought his friends, and they videotaped aircraft going in crazy directions. And on the third time, the government came in and arrested him and let him go eventually, which is kind of weird too. It's like, if you're telling your friends about this top secret thing, why would you let everybody go? Someone else actually said later on that he would just release a balloon, a mylar. That's the word I was trying to think of earlier. Mylar balloon up in the sky. But I think he was just doing that because he was already outed as somebody, and he was trying to bring more proof and get people to believe him. So, but who knows? But this guy legit thinks that we have alien technology that we're using. And it's not the first person. Everybody kind of brings it up in some aspect, that we have these ships. Roswell, the guy who took pictures with the wreckage, said that's not even he told his daughter on his deathbed, that's not the wreckage I found. We just did that. I found bodies. I found this and that. And it always seems like, what do you have to gain on your deathbed by saying something like that?
This is my legacy.
So you try to do this to try to be immortals?
And then he just dies dramatically. See the spirit lifts out of his body. Then as his spirit's lifted up, he's like, "In my moment of glory, that you promised the Macho Man a lot of things."
So you think his dying breath is, the truth is out there? He just dies.
That's it. He left behind his legacy.
Now, before we start talking about this, how did you, you didn't, like I said, Blue, you were a skeptic, but were willing to believe. Mm-hmm. Just like hearing some of these brief stories, and I could do hours on it. There's so many more stories that I could even include. When they say the rabbit hole goes deep, it really does go deep. Yeah. I'm ready at this point. I already think that the world is ending and alien we're from other places, because there's so many things out there on the internet. It's out there. But what's funny? A lot of these things interact with each other. Giants, spaceships, things that float, levitation, sound.
Where's dragons?
Dragons too. Every culture had a dragon tail, basically.
True. Every culture that I know of did have, even Asian cultures.
European
dragons.
Even the
Europeans
the
had dragons. Scottish had dragons.
Everybody had dragons.
It's like, okay, well, who was the first person that said, let's get a lizard, just giant, that flies around, hoards gold, and breathes fucking fire on people, and constantly has a stick up his ass?
Well, what if it was
and then what's funny is that
wasn't there dinosaurs that flew?
Yes, but they weren't. They looked nothing like a dragon.
Well, a pterodactyl
looks nothing like a dragon. No, look at a dragon,
scaly, and
then look at a pterodactyl. Two very different creatures. So I think is, where exactly did the dragon come from? Because then you have different. I can go into dragons.
Where did they go?
Where did they go if they did exist?
You know, someone put a theory up on the Joe Rogan Experience about dragons have bird wings. Bird wings are hollow. Hollow bird wings don't fossilize. So there could be dragons out there, but the wings never fossilize, so all we see is the body and not the wings itself.
It's just weird to me because, like, okay, they like I said, I can go on the topic of dragons.
Go ahead, yeah. That's what keeps you up. If you
I love dragons. Like, as mythological creatures, I just always thought they were just the fucking coolest. Like, they always just had that aura of power around them.
Yeah,
like if you beat one, you were badass.
You beat one, you were badass. But if one made its presence known, you fucking knew it. You knew it.
It's funny because there's this other theory that says that everything that we do is basically a lie. That we're not from here and we're basically in a prison. And I keep hearing the sheep term over and over. Oh, you're sheep.
Wake up, sheeple! Let's get the sheep.
Yeah.
Well, it's like one of those things that they put out there to confuse us. We look for dragons and the meaning of the pyramids, with actually not getting ever any answers.
Because, I mean, think about it. Like, even if we did find a dragon, quote unquote, that the wings did not fossilize and it was just the body, where is the quote unquote flame sack? Because that is a part of a dragon that allows them to breathe fire.
What about you, Blue?
And it's usually within the neck.
Blue, you come from Spanish heritage. What do you have any lore of dragons?
No. You gotta ask your mom.
I don't know. Yeah.
I gotta ask my mom too.
I think that's important. I think we should all ask our parents about our history, because I feel like, especially now, we're so worried about ancient history in the future that we never think about our most recent history. Because,
like, I know, like on my other parents' side, I can ask and I'll get probably a million different answers about some crazy dragon story and some shit. It is what it is. Cool as hell. Like I said, love the creature, love what it symbolizes and all that stuff. But you know, I feel like, I don't know. It's
like one of the things, like, why is there pyramids across 5 different continents? Why are there dragon stories through 5 different continents? Why is there there's so many?
Was there just a singular dragon that went to these places and they all saw it as something else?
Well, and then some of these pharaohs, they show creatures with snake heads. Like, that's kind of dragon-like. And then they have wings, so they fly.
That's kind of like a dragon. Even, I forgot what the hell they call those things. It starts with a Q, these weird type.
Queckleteki?
Some shit like that.
It's like some kind of monster that comes over.
It's like a serpentine. It's usually in a multitude of colors. And it looks
Guackle, something like that. I can't.
It looks
it's terrible.
Terrible. It looks. I can't pronounce it either. I'm not even gonna try to. But it's almost like that. And like, I guess that's kind of like dragon-like, but at the same time, it's like, okay.
Yeah, isn't like the chupacabra kind of still like a
chupacabra?
Chupacabra.
That is nothing like a dragon.
What's a chupacabra?
That's like, it's supposed to be like a freaking, like a man / like some type of beast.
Yeah.
That fucking has like a long, like, serpentine, well, not like a serpentine tongue, like an anteater's tongue, but it's
something like long like a snake's tongue.
It's more like an anteater's tongue, but like a dagger, and it's known to suck the blood of sheep and livestock and stuff.
Kind of like what dragons eat.
Dragons eat anything.
True. Have you seen How to Train My Pet Dragon?
Again, dragons eat anything. Again, How to Train My Pet Dragon. Where the fuck did they come up with the images for those things?
True.
Because Toothless looks kind of fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But he also looks kind of cute.
I'd like to thank Blue and Red for stopping by and having a conversation about UFOs. While I'm not sure if I believe in alien life out there, there's definitely enough fun tales out there to have you always ask, what if? Everything that I said in this episode is easily found online. You can look up Sumerian text, Indian text, Roswell, North American sky people, or star people. Star people is a pseudo belief about this new stuff that's happened, but it's definitely still there. Battle of LA, Gimbal, and Go Fast videos, Kecksburg, are all here. And you really have to wonder, one or two people saying something is one thing, but when dozens to hundreds of people all say the same thing, you have to wonder who's really telling the truth. I really hate you, you little.
Cut it right there. Just cut it right there.
That's fine. I'm gonna keep this part of it. That was my dog. I love him very much. Actually, part of the reason I'm doing this is for them to. I want to be able to, do something that I enjoy doing, and try to, just live this life. So if you're always wondering what if, please join me next time. Thank you.